Hey, hoping the pen tool hasn't scared you away from Illustrator so far. The next is we're going to be editing paths and points. So we're going to go to Artboard 1. So we're in Artboard 1, and here we're going to actually, with this selection tool on the artboard, we're going to take the, we're going to paste this spoon in. But we're not doing that yet. We don't play with the spoon for a while, so let's just ignore the spoon. It wants us to paste in the spoon within the artboard 1, but we're not going to be playing around with it. So we can just kind of copy, paste, and we're just going to, and we can just drag the spoon over here. So we're in artboard 1. And with our direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, it wants us to kind of just draw a box around here. While we can. Make sure it's our direct selection, keyboard shortcut A. There we go. So you can see only the anchor points over here are affected. And starting the direct selection, we're going to edit only these specific path segments. If you select with the direct selection tool, it just doesn't work. The selection tool doesn't work that way. So we're going to just edit, copy, and then we're going to edit, paste in front. So it has those segments when they paste it on there. And then we're going to do a Command J. And I did that, see it made that line right there and helped us close the path. With the selection tool, keyboard shortcut V, we're going to shift drag the middle bounding point, this guy, to the left to make it smaller. So I'm holding down shift and I'm dragging. And kind of match it up with the following figure. And there we've made a little cup handle that we can use. So with the direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, to click the anchor point until you see it and drag it to the figure. So takes this one, and you kind of need to make sure it's selected, and that's the only anchor point that we're working with. And we're just going to kind of move it up a little, it looks like. And position the pointer over the part of the path you see in the following figure and click it to select the path. So when we go on paths, you can see it kind of looks like a little wonky, weird telephone or built barbell on its side that looks sad. I'm going to click on that, and we can drag this path up a little too. Kind of adjust a little bit that we can. And we're going to make it just a little less rounded. And kind of play around with different parts. So it's a good way to, this is a good way to edit the curves. Well, you can, it might be a little too rounded. And this is where your trained eye is definitely going to help. What makes it look? I mean, my coffee cup is a little wonky here. So I might just move it in a little. This out. It's going to be kind of hard to play around with, and probably don't play around with it too much. And then we're gonna go to the bottom, this little guy, and this guy is kind of wonky, so we're gonna take this path and pull it in. Because remember, this is like, when you hold a cup, this is the part that pulls out from the handle. So you don't want it to be too, like a weird tongue sticking out. That's a good way to edit paths and add curves and give it more of a curve on the path to edit it without too much. So next we're going to delete and add anchor points, page 175. So we're going to go to the bottom of this cup, and we're going to take our direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, then click on the edge of the path near the bottom. So right about here, we're on the path, we're not on the anchor point. We're going to take the pen tool, keyboard shortcut P, and take it to the center of the cup where this anchor point is. Notice it has a negative with the minus sign, and we're going to remove this anchor point. Click it there, and that's how you remove anchor points. Now we're going to take the pen tool and position it, as you can see, as a plus sign, so it wants to add an anchor point. We're going to position it kind of near, a little over to the left, to where that last anchor point was removed from. And here we've added an anchor point. And adding points to a curved path to anchor points most likely have directional lines and will be considered smooth points. So keep that in mind. And then we might add another one kind of right there. So we took that one that was in the center, or got rid of it, and added two ones to the left and to the right. So we're going to be converting between smooth points and anchor points. So corner points are kind of edgier, jagged, they're geometric. Smooth points have that nice, beautiful curve. So we'll take our direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A. The last point's still selected, so you may need to kind of click and drag to highlight both of them if you hadn't. And if you go up here, there's convert and handles. We're going to click on points to corner. And that kind of makes them a little edgier. I mean, again, they're kind of on that border, but kind of aligns them there. And with both points still selected, we're going to click the vertical align bottom in the control panel to align one to another. So they may be a little off. As you can see, this one is a little lower than the right. So the vertical align bottom is right here. If this isn't showing, you may need to go to Windows Align to pull up that tool. And mine took it to there. So we're just going to Command Z and vertical align bottom in the control panel. Oh, it's aligning to the artboard. So Command Z. You need, if yours is doing it, you need to click on this, which is sort of the crosshatch quilt panel looking. And it's aligning to artboard. You need to align to selection. And then click vertical align bottom. And that has just slightly nudged them with each other. So we have to make sure they're aligning to the selection and not the artboard. So now we're going to press the down arrow 5 times to move both points down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to deselect. With the direct selection tool, we're going to click on the coffee cup shape to show most of the anchor points. So direct selection tool, just going to click on the coffee shape. And as you see, some of the anchor points are visible right there. And then we're going to click on the points that are labeled 1 in this picture. So this is labeled 1, and we're on page 176. And so we're going to click on anchor point labeled 1 on the figure first, and then we're going to shift click the anchor point 2. Click the horizontal align button, and we're going to align them both. So we're going to click 1, hold down shift so that we're going to be selecting 2. So you have 2 things selected. And we're going to select the horizontal align left. As you can see, it kind of makes it into an angle right there. So we're going to do the same with 3 and 4. So we're going to deselect, select 3. We're going by the images at the bottom of page 176. Hold down shift, click 2, horizontal align right. So I know they look kind of wonky, but we're going to play with them. So next we're going to play with the anchor point tool. So if we go on the pen tool in our tools panel and pull this open, we have our anchor point tool right there. We're going to click on it, and this is such a great tool to play around and push your curves. So with the convert anchor point tool or anchor point tool, we are going to position it over what was 2, which is right there. We're going to click to create that path to a smooth point with direction handles to corner point. So as you can see, I can play around and move around the curves and paths. And this is a good way, so let's say you made some curves that you weren't happy with. This is how you adjust them. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to take the handle, and I'm going to take my handle over this anchor point. I'm going to do that again and kind of zoom in more. So you can see this light blue line, and those are my handles, and there's another handle up here. So I'm going to click on the handle right here and nest it over to this anchor point. Because handles have 2 parts, and it uses them to throw the curve of your path. And as you can see, made it nice and straight. So we're going to do the same thing. Pull the convert anchor point tool from our toolbar. Find this right here, and actually I just clicked it and it didn't. I don't want to do that. But I find my selection there, and I'm going to drag it down. And it says that you can hold down the shift key to kind of hold it, but although we really can't see in this image. I'm going to hide this spoon. Oh, it wants us to make it more rounded. So I'm going to click on the bottom ones, and we're going to shift down. One second. Position the pointer over the anchor point. Oh, there we go. And we're just going to hold down shift and drag down to add a bit of line. So I click on my anchor point, and I'm trying to find there we go. And that's going to add a little bit of curve to the bottom. They're not entirely matching, but we can try and play around. So do that again. So we've done it successfully over here. So it's our convert anchor point tool. we're at the very bottom. We zoomed in, kind of clicked and drag, and if I do this down, I have to kind of pull up. So I hold down shift, kind of creates it. So to click a little to get the handles, and that's how we made the bottom not have such an angular look to it. Alright, so let's do a Command S, and this video will be done. The next video we're going to play on dash lines and arrowheads.